National security, perspectives, approaches, and strategies. The presidency has assured Nigerians of improved security in the country, despite reports of abductions and killings in several parts of the nation. We will be talking about this shortly. Stay with us on the program. Thanks for joining us on the program. It is Talking Politics on your digital-first Pan-African News Network, TS Television. I'm Musa Cecily, reaching you live from our Abuja studios in Nigeria. Today, we will talk about the security situation in the country and some of the strategies to employ on the way forward. But before we get into that conversation, let's check some of the trending political stories we have monitored for you. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo was said to have had a closed-door meeting with Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State, where he urged the governor to continue his fight against criminality. Obasanjo on Sunday met with the Kogi State governor in Lokoja. During the visit, Obasanjo lauded Governor Bello on his efforts in ensuring security, good governance, and infrastructure development in the state. Now, Obasanjo said this, and I quote, "We believe Governor Yahaya Bello will keep doing his possible best to safeguard the lives and livelihood of all Nigerians." A federal high court in Lagos has dismissed the People's Democratic Party (PDP's) suit seeking to disqualify Senator Adetokunbo Abiru of the All Progressive Congress (APC) from continuing to represent Lagos East Senatorial District in the National Assembly. Justice Chuka Obiozor, in a 5-hour judgment on Monday, upheld the argument canvassed by Abiru's lawyer, Mr. Kemi Pinheiro, that the PDP's case was statute barred. The judge also disagreed with the PDP's argument made through its counsel, Mr. Ebonlu Adegborua, that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) cannot transfer a voter's registration details. Abiru won the December 5th senatorial by-election by a landslide, polling 89,204 votes against PDP's Ademola Gbadamusi, who polled 11,257 votes. The APC chieftain has since been sworn into office. Now, ahead of the March 6th Delta State Local Government Council polls, the Deputy Senate President, Senator O.V. Omo Agege, has reiterated that the election could only be rigged if electorates go to sleep, insisting that every vote must count. Speaking at Oviriogo Ugeli North Local Government Area in Delta State while commissioning the 20 lock-up store market built in the community, Omo Agege said elections can only be rigged when the electorates go to sleep. He further said electorates must insist in casting their votes and make sure that every vote counts. He urged the people to vote massively for the chairmanship candidate of the All Progressive Congress (APC) in Ugeli North, Mrs. Ese Edijala. He said, and I quote, "Let everybody come out and insist that they bring all the materials to the units. If you can do this, I am confident that APC will win," Omo Agege said. The presidency has assured Nigerians of improved security in the country, despite reports of abductions and killings in several parts of the nation. Speaking during a monitored TV program, the media advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, said President Muhammadu Buhari is committed to tackling the security challenges the country grapples with. Take a listen to him.
Every president worth his salt would be determined to protect the people. And that is the position of the president on the security situation in the country. We know that the times are challenging, very, very challenging. Nobody can deny that. But we also know that these challenges will not last forever because we don't see evil overcoming good eventually. These killings, these criminalities are evil, and evil never overcomes good.
All right, that's Mr. Femi Adesina, the special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity. Also, former Minister of Aviation Femi Fani-Kayode has warned that the deteriorating security situation in the country could lead to a civil war. According to Chief Fani-Kayode, Nigeria is on the brink of war, and only coming together to reason can stop the nation from falling into civil unrest. Let's listen to Chief Fani-Kayode.
there's no point in going on about who is right or who is wrong. It's time for us to come together, to talk to one another, to talk. Northerners should talk to Southerners, Southerners should talk to Northerners, Christians should talk to Muslims, APC should talk to PDP, and APGA should be included, and anybody else that is a leader. Every stakeholder in this country must come together today, because what we're facing is a situation which might cause a very brutal, bloody civil war for the next 50 years in this nation.
Adding her voice also, the co-convener of the Bring Back Our Girls group, Asha Yusufu, has also criticized the president over his handling of the increasing spate of abductions in the country. When asked what she thinks of the president's assurance to Nigerians about efforts being made to rescue all those who have been abducted, Ms. Yusufu has this to say. Take a listen to her.
We are used to a president whose words mean nothing. He says one thing and the opposite happens. And I think part of the things that we should be demanding as Nigerians is the fact that the president should come out and tell us what is going on. The media should sit down with the president and ask him what is the way forward. As a citizen, it's not our business to give the way forward. He was voted to give the way forward.
Now joining me on the program to look at the issue of insecurity and what state actors and security agencies can do to chart a way forward as regards the insecurity in our nation. Joining me via Zoom from the city of Port Harcourt is Mr. Andy Akpotive, a social reformer and of course a public affairs analyst. Mr. Andy, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to be here.
Now, Mr. Andy, let me first get your reactions as regarding the president's assurance that the last abduction that happened last Friday was going to be the last. What do you make of the assurance of the presidency as regards insecurity?
Rhetorics, so much of rhetorics that we see thrown at the citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that is not backed up or matched with equivalent action. It's beyond rhetorics. We knew the president to be someone who was not shy to the things of war and warfare. The reason the president indeed was voted into office was because of the perception by majority of Nigerians that if you ever elevated a general to that position, he was going to be able to address the issues of insecurity and insurgency in our country. But today all we see are platitudes and rhetorics. Nigerians are indeed tired, they are naked, they are fatigued, from these promises that we keep getting from the presidency and the president. We do not want to just hear words. We do not just want to have the president speak words to us. In any case, the president will not be speaking to us. So this is some advancement. This is some goodies that has been thrown to us that is speaking to us. It never speaks to us. But beyond the speaking to the people, we must see that there is the equivalent action that is matched at addressing these issues of insecurity and insurgency. Today, we are just romanticizing. Today, we are just treating with kids' gloves. If you read Olusegun Obasanjo's letter that recently was written, you would see that he had spoken about the fact that it should be beyond platitudes and rhetoric. We must put hands in gloves at addressing these issues of insecurity and insurgency.
Now let's look at rejigging the security infrastructure. There's been a lot of call that the presidency should rejig the entire security architecture in the nation. And after long moments of call and all of that, we finally had that moment where we replaced the service chiefs. Now, don't you think that that is some progress in sight and that is an equivalent action, like you put it?
Obviously, but the question is, did the president actually change the service chief because of the fact that he was convinced that it was important that there was new strategy, it was important that new blood was pumped into the system, or it was because of the very fact that there were certain constitutional infractions that he did not want to plunge into, that his keeping the service chief would have made him to be remembered as one who plunged into those infractions. So for me, when people say the president changed, if it was going to be changed, it would have been earlier than today. Today, as it stands, like I have said to a lot of people, there is a time when you can bend the tree. If you wanted to get the tree to grow in certain way, in certain trajectory, there is the time you can bend the tree and the tree would grow after that bending. But there is the time when you can no longer bend the tree, that if you are tempted at bending the tree, you would break the tree. The time that it was important that the service stage be changed, time had passed. That today the president, realizing that there is going to be a constitutional infraction, has decided to do what he did. That today we do not know whether it was sack, whether it was resignation, or whether it was whatever it was that it was. The point I'm making is that in addressing any problem, you must understand that proper diagnosis of that problem was over 70%, necessary to fixing the problem before even giving or throwing solutions or throwing remedies or throwing, a therapy at the problem. What do I mean? How do we understand insecurity and insurgency in our country? We must know that insecurity and insurgency in our country can only be fought where there is the political will to fight this insecurity and insurgency.
Now, Mr.
They
Andy,
said that.
Now, Mr. Andy,
Yes,
talking
please.
about political will, there's been this argument that talking about security is not just the responsibility of the presidency. We have governors, we have National Assembly members, we have representatives in the National Assembly. Don't you think that political will cuts across all facets of leadership and not just the presidency?
So, in the command and rule system of the military, you would have the general, you have the lieutenants, you have what we say as the other foot soldiers. The other foot soldiers are important, but whatever was said by the general is very, 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 very important towards fixing the challenge. This is the point I'm trying to make. If we say that the governors are important, if we say that the House of Assembly, the members of the House of Assembly are important, the judiciary and all these other people are important, what is the president, who is the commander-in-chief, showing to the rest of these other important bodies about the fight of this insurgency? Let me explain. The National Assembly, the Senate, centrally on their floor said that the president should sack the service chiefs. Go and play it now. It was there. It was not just an advisory. They said they were addressing the issue of insecurity. Everything that they said, they communicated to the president. But what happened? The president just merely took it as an advice and never acted on it. And these are people you are saying they are very important in the equation of fighting insurgency and insecurity. When the governors were speaking about taking power so that they can indeed be the chief security officers of their state, what happened? Did the president back the National Assembly to allow that bill to scale through in the National Assembly, such that we killed even what would have even helped Nigeria become a great country? So the point is, we shouldn't just be dilly-dallying. Nigerians are being economical with the truth. The responsibility to fix Nigeria, the responsibility to address insurgency and insecurity issue lies squarely on the table of the president. The president, like I have said, has abdicated this responsibility long ago to my mind, because you needed to show certain example. Leadership is not about just speaking English or drinking a cup of coffee. Leadership is about taking the bull by the horn and demonstrating to people that you are committed to a purpose that you believe everybody should be pursuing. Today, what we would have expected that the president should indeed have listened to the National Assembly. If he had done that, perhaps the members of the National Assembly would have strongly believed that indeed their opinions matter, their advices matter, and they would have been giving these advices. But today, we saw a president and a presidency that simply said to every other person in the country that they know that the responsibility is theirs. And it is when they are ready to fix it that they will fix it. So I just said to you in simple terms, the responsibility to fix insecurity, the responsibility to fix insurgency, as captured in our constitution, squarely and solely lies in the domain of the president and the presidency.
Now, Mr. Andy, how do we chart a way forward out of this seemingly quagmire that it seems that the nation is in as regards insecurity? How do we, what strategies can we employ? Because you have rightly noted that the primary responsibility of tackling insecurity lies squarely in the office of the presidency. Looking at our situation, what do you think can be done for us to chart a way forward?
Three things. The president must quickly have a broadcast, and I'm not talking about one that you'll be reading a few things, heart-to-heart conversation with Nigerians to say, Nigerians, listen, if I did anything that appeared as though I was sleeping on bicycle, I apologize. I understand Nigeria to be ours, whether you are from the north, you are from the south, you are from the east, and you are from the west. Nigeria is ours. And I understand that it's my responsibility to fix this country. Having taken that responsibility, I'm saying here and now to as many people as are listening to us, that is not going to be business as usual. If anybody, whether you are from my tribe, from my ethnic group, whether you are from the tribe that is in the east, from the group in the west, if anybody takes arm against the citizens of this country, I will come hard with all of the powers that I've got against those people. If they are Fulani people that are coming from wherever they are coming from, if they are herders, if they are people that are ethnic jingoists, whatever it is, I will come hard at you. And I will spare nothing at ensuring that the insurgency and the insecurity in this country is wiped out. Having said that, the president must then demonstrate it. Demonstrate it by saying that in 24 hours, we want the military, give the military chiefs a marching order to go to certain locations that you know, because do you know the information that is available to the president? That you know that the insurgents or the people who are taking arms against Nigerian state are located. Say to them that everything that is living within that environment that has taken arm against the Nigerian state is neutralized. Once that message is communicated, people will sit up. I have said severally that it's consequences that mold behavior and mold character. Where a people kidnap and you are exchanging monies with them, you are merely motivating them. You are calling bandits. You are saying bandits are not criminals. You are putting deodorant, on a gangrenous wound, and you are expecting that the wound is going to be smelling fine. What we are doing is that we are romanticizing with the evil day, and the evil day is knocking on us. It's knocking on our door right now. The president must demonstrate it. That's one. Then two, the president must accept where there is no capacity that he needs assistance. And let me reiterate this. He must accept, and it is not failure for leader to say, I do not have capacity to do this. We all do. For instance, you are a journalist. If I said to you that I wanted to give you scapula, I wanted to give you certain instrument to do surgeries in the theater, for instance, you will say that you do not have capacity to do it. And it will not be a problem because that's not your training. The president must realize where we do not have capacity, he must beckon on others within the international community to come and assist us. Everywhere you see that they are fighting insurgents, whether in Mali, whether in Libya, everywhere you see that is a collaborative effort between the country where the insurgency is taking place and other interested people and leadership across the globe. Our president must realize that accepting to receive, succor, accepting to receive empowerment, quote and unquote, from other people, it's not failure or failing on his side. Having done that, the president must not do everything possible to disincentivize people from going into those insecurity issues. How do you do this? Find that there is a serious system of disenfranchising people regarding going to school in the north. See, they say the idle man or mind is the devil's workshop. A person who does not understand the difference between right and wrong, if he does wrong, would you say it's wrong? I've asked this question severally. If you did not understand, if your mind could not conceive the difference between right and wrong, and you do wrong, should people, rational minded people, rational thinking people, the ability of leadership first to be able to clearly, lucidly, and vividly show to the people, demonstrating to them through education what the difference is between right and wrong. The people you call insurgents today, if you ever engage them, you would see that they are never able to think on the pedestal you and I are thinking on, because they have not been thoroughly educated. So the president must not start the process of educating people rightly. He must not start the process of not employing, of ensuring that people get absorbed into the labor force. Not all of these things that we are doing that we call governance. We are just simply sleeping on bicycle. If you address these three issues, you can be sure that insecurity and insurgency would have simmered down or would have reduced considerably to a very logical point.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andy Akpotive, social reformer, speaking to us from the city of Port Harcourt. It's always a pleasure getting you to share your thoughts with us, and we do really appreciate you for being a part of the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Leadership, everything rises and falls on the shoulder, on the table of leadership. We as Nigerians must realize that we must ask our leaders to do what they should do. It is not the responsibility of the passenger to move the vehicle from point A to point B. It didn't matter whether the passenger had the capacity to drive. It is not the responsibility of the passenger to fly the aircraft from Lagos to Port Harcourt. It didn't matter whether the passenger was a pilot. It is the responsibility of the one designated to be a pilot at that time to move the passengers from point A to point B. It is the responsibility of the president to fix this code. And Nigerians must look at him on the face and say, Mr. President, you decided that you wanted this office. You understood the challenges that were in this office, and you would fix it or you would leave it.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Andy Akpotive, for being a part of the show. Thank you. It's good having you here. That's it on the program on Talking Politics today. Do log on to our website to read more news on politics, and of course, watch more episodes of Talking Politics on www.tstvnetwork.com. Follow us on our social media platforms at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TSTV Network. I'm Musa Zeh. It's excellent. Thanks for watching.